storm had been whispering across the ocean's surface. And as the paranormal investigation team boarded the Lux Starliner, a looming dread sank deeper in the pit of their stomachs. The ship, once a jewel of the seas, now rested with creaking groans as it swayed gently at the harbor. White salt streaks marred the lustrous finish of yesteryears, and the air carried a chill not from the sea breeze, but from the eerie sense of abandonment, as if the ship itself mourned something lost. Henry, the lead investigator, combed through their mission briefing with a furrowed brow. "Amy Bradley," he murmured, flipping over the dossier with her picture-warm brown eyes, and a broad smile frozen in time. "Vanished without a trace," he continued, looking at the others who nodded somberly. Kaylee adjusted the infrared camera on her shoulder, its red light blinking. "I'm not sure what we'll find," she said, her voice low, absorbing the ship's oppressive presence. As they ventured aboard, the silence was fractal. Chipped tiles and faded carpets whispered tales of laughter, now buried in the depths. The corridors stretched labyrinthine under dim emergency lighting, casting long shadows that danced menacingly. The team's footsteps echoed hollowly, a prelude to the tales of dread the ship promised to unveil. This was just the beginning of a descent into the unknown, where the whispers of secrets hidden by the sea began to unravel. As the team moved through the ship's foyer, an unsettling quietude enveloped them like a shroud. Each creak of the ship spoke in ghoulish tongues, recounting the long-forgotten nightmares of those who walked its decks. Naomi, the empath of the group, felt her stomach clench as vibrations of residual despair wafted through the air, thickening it with unseen sorrow. The investigation commenced. Henry, with a flick of his wrist, signaled Kaylee to begin recording. They paused at the threshold of the grand ballroom, where chandeliers hung like spectral guardians, casting flickering shadows over the glassy dance floor. The air here seemed to hum with a macabre melody that no longer needed musicians. Drawn deeper into the ship's bowels, they descended staircases that spiraled into secrecy. A sudden draft licked Naomi's skin, raising goosebumps as they passed locked cabins and deserted lounges. Each cabin door felt like a bony finger reaching out indiscernibly for help, and the sense of being watched grew by the moment. Eyes from the past that observed from every crevice. Their search led them to the promenade deck, where the sea stretched infinitely, a black gaping maw threatening to swallow them whole. Henry stopped near a section labeled Observation Point. It was here, according to records, that Amy Bradley was last seen. A quaint myth surrounded this part of the ship, said to be a passage to worlds unknown. Yet now it stood deserted, dressed in the spectral garb of forgotten rendezvous. Pierre, the historian of the team, gazed intently over the railing into the deep. "There's something undeniably absorbing about this place," he said, his voice barely audible over the far-off murmurs of the sea. Lush waves whispered of mysteries cloaked beneath layers of time, beckoning the living to join those who have slipped away. Kaylee's camera captured more than intended, a shadow slipping through the deck's fog, an aberration in form that danced around the corner and vanished. She shuddered, feeling its eyes upon her, a part of the night as real as the brushed steel pipe in her shaking hand. The observer became the observed, plunging the team into a heightened awareness that rekindled hidden fears. As night deepened, the team reconvened at the ship's library, a once opulent reading room now shelved under dust's domain. Muffled creaks and groans reverberated from the ship's hull as they searched for clues. Each tome lined against the walls held not pages, but echoes of memories absorbed into the ink, remnants of voyages eternally lingering. Naomi sat at a carved oak table, leafing through passenger logs and articles, each written account a breadcrumb leading nowhere particular. Amidst trivial entries was a reference to the siren's call, a peculiar note scribbled alongside Amy's name, inferring something more profound concealed beneath layers of surface reality. Henry found a journal, merely a ghost of a notebook, filled with sketches and writings that seemed almost alive. Drawings of the ship and fantastical, yet haunting depictions of a woman gazing out into the abyss became erratic as the entries progressed. It mirrored the very disquiet settling within them, a vague unraveling of sanity as shadows within shadows laughed under the flickering lights. The library's revelations sent a shiver down the team's spine. Naomi stumbled onto references intertwining nautical folklore with the ship's peculiar history. Stories of passengers who vanished into thin air, taken by sirens lurking beneath the ship, spreading as myths among maritime circles, a whisper here, a cautionary tale there. Henry's resolve hardened with each story shared, and he strategized their next move. "We must locate the heart of these myths," he declared. His eyes seemed to pierce the shadowy veil encircling them, though not entirely dissipating the fears creeping from within. They moved cautiously towards the engine room, where myth claimed the strongest of siren activities. The passage clung to a dreadful stillness, with fluorescent lights flickering above, casting twisted shadows. Naomi's intuition tugged at her senses, signaling an impending revelation lurking beneath the hum of the engines, where man-made power coiled with the supernatural energy waiting to ensnare. In the engine room, the team crowded around machinery that seemed not merely engine parts, but relics of some arcane industry. There, between pistons and gears, a strange carving etched into the metal spoke of an older, deeper magic. It represented knots in the sea and phases of the moon, carved by hands long vanished, but never truly gone. Pierre ran his fingers over the symbols, feeling the power hum beneath, the energy a sadistic dance between technology and arcana. "This set of symbols correlates with seafaring myths," he whispered. His voice was but a breath beneath the engine's roar. Kaylee, ensuring the camera captured every trace, felt a stirring in the air behind her, a ripple one might call a sigh, but her equipment stayed unperturbed by supernatural specters, save for a slight static issued from her headphones, music of a distant shore calling upon them. A growl from the engine, or language forgotten by men, rose with a sinister lilt that turned corners of their resolve. As they left the engine room behind, echoes of its haunting hum remained in their minds. The ship swayed gently as if it were aware, a lumbering beast prowling old waters. Naomi led them toward the upper decks, drawn by an unseen magnetism, her every footfall in time with an unheard beat composed by anxious spirits lurking beyond time's curtain. The observation deck stretched wide before them, bathed in ever-shifting shadows cast by twilight grips. In the distance, the sky and sea merged seamlessly into one beastly entity, making it impossible to discern where one ended and the other began. A lone deck chair, debilitated by age, moved mysteriously as if someone unseen had just abandoned it. The team froze as Piers gazed transfixed upon the chair, drawing near with deliberate strides. He bent toward the seat before recoiling at the cold imprint left behind, a molded shape of someone who should be there and wasn't, leaving questions in its absence. It echoed a non-existent comfort from wherever captured souls now lingered. On the deserted deck, an invisible tension braided with age-old fears. The team's skin prickled with an almost deafening silence, broken only by the soft, hypnotic lapping of the waves against the ship's hull, a lullaby for the lost. Naomi, more sensitive to the presence that had graced them ghost-like, felt the chills spread like wildfire. Kaylee turned her camera towards the sea, catching a fleeting, hazy silhouette within the vapor, an apparition longing for recognition. A face barely discernible amidst sea smoke. Her hands quivered on the recording devices, capturing a tendril of the unexplained. Henry, sensing their precarious position, urged a retreat, but the ship's anguish called to them. Pages in its aged books of mystery, compelling them further rather than back, pulled by a force at once frightening and binding. "We must find where the heart beats strongest," he whispered, fearing they were too late to escape an ancient pull so deeply rooted below the murky surface. The team wandered back inside, toward the heart of myths ling in the ship's hull. Naomi's senses led them, visions blurring together. All time became twisted by echoes of the past, demanding notice. Sentient shadows crept across the paneled walls, their dance succinct with an out-of-place melody, existing only for the cursed. In the dining hall, chairs lay askew, tables shrouded beneath decaying linens and glasses, half filled with murky liquid, libations for chimeras that still held court. The air felt leaden, the scent of aged meals clinging to their senses, ghosts abandoning haunt, yet bound within corrupt tradition. A rustling stirred the silence as Henry turned to face the specter, a man in tattered attire, eyes hollow as if abyssal seas filled them. He reached out, mouthing words from a forgotten tongue before dissolving into nothing. The atmosphere thickened, pregnant with tales unspoken, laughter forgotten, a world locked away in the name of safety that never came. Amidst fear and fatigue, Naomi experienced what she could only describe as time slipping through her grasp. A ghostly orchestra played silent timpani, the hum of the ship, the metronome. Shadows joined as dancers, oscillating within walls, intersecting pathless halls. In awe and terror, the team traced back to familiar paths, and yet arrived anew, a paradoxical reawakening. Naomi stumbled upon a piece of old parchment, a diary entry, pages yellowed and edges frayed, capturing moments before Amy Bradley vanished. Her handwriting spoke volumes. I feel watched, long forgotten eyes asking me to dance. Unnerved, Naomi shared the discovery with the team, bringing to life a reality more horrific than envisioned. A resonance vibrated through them, each step aligned with destiny's dread song. Whispers echoing through the lore-webbed corridors, where the very air dictated movements, relic and entity, tyrant and time. The crescendo climaxed within the very core of their fears. The teams fractured across overlapping mirrors. Spine-tingling reflections revealed selves, potentials, and versions not born from this world, a spectral kaleidoscope, momentarily binding them with 1,000 lifetimes. In front of these reflections, obscura linings between epochs, a vice of ice compressed Naomi's lungs as she touched the mirror's surface that pulsed lifelike. Trapped within painted eyes, Amy Bradley stared back, beckoning certain collapse, bound within a perpetual dance dictated by unfathomable dreams. Their screams were caught in the ether, absorbed by the labyrinth as Henry lunged, tearing Naomi away, while shadows claimed revelry. The mirror remained, reflecting selves irrevocably altered beyond return. The glass splintered, flaking into gestures grandiose, pouring into the river of madness running across the deck, leaving behind the fractured mirror world that smoldered long past fading night. The journey's gravity thrust them onward, sucked deeper into mythic entrails, weaving lore upon lore, calling them to the siren's heart, never meant for mortals. Kaylee sensed the fusing resonance, vibrating beneath each step as she followed echoes that bled vulnerability. There's something more here, she choked, half comforted by purpose beyond understanding. She held the same resolve as Amy before fate intervened. They traced back toward the ballroom, now draped ominously in ghostly garlands spun from distant moonbeams, a sacred tribute, woven by siren hands, guided by dreams not pursued, but demanded. Naomi felt her strength being sapped, siphoned into a living pulse that thrived between every beat the ocean sang, obscured by layers past, present, and eternal, crossing into the ballroom once more, each ripple characterized by whispered implorations. The team saw clarity emerge, a finality solidified beyond the appalling tales spoken of its supernatural depths. An unnatural peace descended upon them, The floor groaned, memories past due. The air combusted with electric tension, despite its visible vacancy. A chorus of absence, bemoaning Amy Bradley's fate of intertwined destiny, reminding them that the sea never truly gives back. Naomi succumbed to forces ages in the making, immersing within an otherworldly rhythm shared by shadows, twining intricately beyond terror's boundaries. Not fear, but understanding carried her along the fringes. Her vision shifted as truth stripped illusion away, channeling through her grand message. Every soul aboard this vessel shall dance. In the sudden stillness, the present became a fading brushstroke on a canvas long abandoned by time. Naomi merged into the ballet portrayed by countless souls bound, not of flesh, but of wishes frozen into starlit corridors within the spinning arc of providence. A shattered illusion found its anchor, those who never left, gesturing Amelia to join where separation never Q11 questions certainty. For primal fears need never reveal their creators in order to exist. Finally understanding, Naomi knew Amy Bradley, ultimately connecting memory to myth. She became Amy's voice, her presence, the realization of a dance transgressing limitations of flesh and reality, binding both past and present into the wicked embrace of infinity, deserved neither of belief nor doubt. Standing there, strangers among forgotten faces, the remaining team members saw Naomi's acceptance bestowed freedom, a choice. Lead astray, but home ever onward unto the restless courtship of an Eden na song needed wait. They watched her waltz along immutable trails, whispering secrets to break the pull, the mirror itself unfazed above. In the haunting aftermath, Henry, Kaylee, and Pierre emerged unwillingly disentangled, yet enlightened. A transformative passage traversed. The Lux Starliner creaked a final lament, settling once more into infinite bluish depths. Voices long silent echoed faintly behind, mere shadows of condemnation against Timor's midnight reflection, an amalgam of minstrel tempests, silent harmony touching scars deep within amnesiac night.